Sheffield swing bridge. Totally manual in those days. Given a good day, I could get my boat through there in about 11 minutes. There was a jack underneath the bridge. You had to unwind the jack to allow the bridge to go level. Then you had to push it open with a pole. You can't see the pole on the extreme right-hand side, and usually it would wedge halfway across. And when it, in desperation, you then called upon all the cars that were there, saying, "Well, you can't get through either until we've got the bridge open." But a good time was 11 minutes. More often than not, it could be nearer 20 minutes.
Yeah, Mike, there was another problem with that bridge as well, if people were working it single-handed, because the tow path is on the opposite side to the controls. So if you'd actually been there and pushed the bridge open, you couldn't get back to the boat.
Any guesses of where that is? Cane Hill Lock. Cane Hill, one of the bottom locks. They were completely grassed over in many places. It's outside our area. We obviously didn't do any work down there, but you've got to look at the situation of what all the locks were like, and many of them were in that sort of state. That's Salhampstead Lock. That one was repaired in the end by a group of prisoners from Reading Jail and an army unit that happened to be in the area who provided some of the kit. We also had a steam dredger in those days. That is the steam dredger at work. It wasn't a great deal of use. We couldn't find enough work for it, really. And in the end, it was sold on to the Basingstoke people. It's now dismantled completely and is in the boat museum. Sorry, where is it? Ellesmere Port. County Lock. It had a bridge right across it, as you can see. It looks quite pretty like that. The bridge was removed. I'll show you, I think, what the was of it being removed in a moment. Whose backsides are we looking at? Any idea? Not mine. Yeah, we had to do an enormous amount of bank clearing work. Trees down, cutting trees and burning them, enormous bonfires. Can you recognise that one, Jerry? That's Ladder that was Jerry's first boat, and I presume that somewhere along there, it must be Maureen and Jerry, doing bank clearing work. I suspect it's near Garston Lock. We've moved on now. This is Bull's Lock, which is the only lock on the canal which was repaired totally by volunteers. We had a qualified engineer supervising the work. It was done at weekends. And also one of the BW men, the local boss man in the area, gave us a tremendous amount of help. To start with, we had to dig out a good 3 feet of silt from the bottom of the lock, and it was done by hand. You could get two spadefuls into a bucket and then the bucket was called up to the top by hand, tipped into a wheelbarrow, and four buckets was enough to put in any wheelbarrow, more than you could lift. The principle that was adopted then was, if it could be done by hand, then it would be done by hand because it didn't cost anything. The only machinery was only ever used when there was no other way of doing the job. We had to have pumps, and those obviously had to be driven. That is making the lock gate. I don't know what you're drilling holes. Where's the lady in post?
The machine that Jan's using was taken from the museum in Newbury. It's got basically a plank that she's sitting on, so that keeps the drill perpendicular to the wood. You push it round, rather like a sort of hand-propelled bicycle, and that takes the drill into the wood, but you can see that giant corkscrew on the left-hand side of the picture. Yep. It was 12-inch wood, and we only had a 9-inch drill. That's a hand auger there, it's not for the celebratory champagne. So you started it off to about 9 inches with the drill, and then you had to finish it off by using the hand auger. And that's how we made the gates at Bulls.
You can't, unfortunately, see enough in this one, really. But I found the right one. They were fitting the lock gates in, and they had to use a tripod instead of a crane. Again, manual labour to lift it. That's the way it was always done, of course, in the old days. Prince Philip, looking at the lock, that's our engineer, who was in fact one of the engineers who was busy building the M4, and he used to take, his Sunday job was to come and supervise us doing the work. How did we get Prince Philip there? Well, the Admiral, who was the chairman of the trust at the time, had a lot of friends. He was made the Rear Admiral of the United Kingdom. That's an honorary title given to him when he retired. And he was well known in royal circles, and through that they managed to get Prince Philip to come along and see what was going on. I'm on the right. Derek Blaswell is in the centre of the picture. He was the chairman. I think we got 127 trolleys that time. This was the start of rescue. We called it a trolley drag, and for a couple of years we did it on our own, and then Reading came along and turned it into rescue, and not only did they help clearing the canal, but they were clearing up rubbish all round through the local area as well. That is the first two boats on the coal run. They were bringing coal up into the canal, and that is in Padworth Lock. Now, at this point, I'm sorry, quite right. At this point, the canal is not open all the way. You could, for a long time, the canal was only open as far as Tower Mill.